Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Stand-Up. My name's Lee Henson, president of AgileDad, and without any further ado, let's get started. Today we're going to continue our journey on the 12-step program. We've already covered the first 9, so today we're going to wrap things up with steps 10, 11, and 12. What I'll encourage you is, if you haven't listened to the first 9, to go back into the podcast archive and to the previous episodes and listen to those first 9 steps. Or go on to the AgileDad website or to the AgileDad YouTube channel and watch the webinar, which covers all 12 steps. That way you can get your head around the first 9 and understand that it's not an all-or-nothing solution and it's not something that must be done in order. The idea behind creating these was to give people, an approach, a runway, something that they should focus on. A lot of people refer to this as the Agile coaching playbook, if you will. It gives you an opportunity to really dig in and know where to start and what kind of things you should be looking for if your organization's either trying to measure up and see how you're doing with regard to your Agile implementation, or if your organization is looking to just get started and figure things out and transition things to Agile in a way that makes sense, in a way that's manageable, and in a way that's a pragmatic approach. One of the things we specialize in is humanizing work. We don't want to be completely dogmatic with our approach. So these are all an idea of things that you can do to help your organization be better. And what I can tell you is that in organizations where AgileDad coaches have been, we've seen great success using these models. So we encourage you to dig in, feast on these, and see where your organization might fit. So beginning with number 10 now, this is an interesting one. It is important, but notice how far down the line I pushed it. It's called Secure the Appropriate Agile Tooling Solution. So not every implementation of Agile requires some kind of large-scale tool. Many times I've seen people have success with sticky notes or with index cards and whiteboards or, whatever tool you want to use. Even Excel, I've seen solutions that have worked. I'm not saying those are the only solutions, but what I am saying is there are plenty of really, really nice, scalable tool implementations that are out there. So we need a way to both keep a close eye on progress of the teams and the organization as a whole. We want to see things from a product or service level. And, one of the great beliefs I have is what's visible gets done. So the simple practice of selecting the correct Agile tool based on what information you're trying to convey to leadership and to the outer world is an important decision, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. And, there's so many different tools out there. Whether you're looking at a more enterprise solution and you're shopping for things like Rally software from Broadcom or version 1 from CollabNet, or the Azure Agile solution, or the HP Agile Manager, or my favorite, the Jira solution from Atlassian. There are tons of solutions out there. And when I say my favorite, not my favorite because it's the best, my favorite because it's lightweight. And I think that what we need to find is the solution that best meets the needs of our organization. So the one critical rule that I have here that I often put out there is, don't try to buy a tool first and then map your process to what the tool's capabilities are, but figure out what you're trying to do as an organization and then map which tool works best to meet the needs of that organization. What you'll quickly find is, if you're building video games, you might want a different software solution than if you're building enterprise-level software. So while there's tons of ideas out there about different things you can use from a tool perspective, make sure you have a good understanding of what each one does. Don't be afraid to ask for an extended free demo, and I'm sure each of these companies would love to have you look into their product or service. Next, we should identify ways to measure the team and group success. So we talked about measuring consumer success and how happy they are and how aware they are. But we need ways to measure internally. How is our team doing? How are we doing as a group? Take time to identify internal and external service level agreements and determine what metrics for success are going to be celebrated by the team. I think the key here is, I've seen so many teams get into a funk. We don't want to let teams get into a mode where they feel like all they do is sprint and meet and sprint and meet and sprint and meet over and over again. We need to find ways to recognize them for positive accomplishments, and we need to build towards high-performing teams. In a Tuckman model, it talks about forming, storming, norming, performing. We need to get to performing, and I think that it's sad that there's so few teams that actually make it there. So my question to you is, What tools do we have in place to measure team success, and how do we help them get to performing? One of the other things that I realize is sometimes it doesn't take a lot of money or a large prize or a large initiative to get teams motivated. Sometimes it's the small and simple, thoughtful things that help energize teams and help push them towards success. Finally, we want to make sure that we take an opportunity, because every organization is unique, just like we were talking about before. Each organization is going to have different problems. At this point, once those first 11 are addressed, now it's time for you to identify the top 3 issues that still haven't been addressed. Plan a course of action to get these taken care of. This list is pretty comprehensive, but there shouldn't be a single list that can include everything one organization needs to do in order to see all facets of Agile success. It's important to constantly look towards continuous improvement. This step helps you review all the previous steps and make certain that there's nothing that was missed or overlooked. This also allows the time needed to inspect and adapt internally. It's always a best practice to look internally for additional opportunities to improve, instead of always looking for outside excuses about why your organization is in the fix that it's in. No plan's perfect for everyone. While this is comprehensive, it's not an end-all be-all. It's not a red pill, blue pill solution or a one-size-fits-all. Sometimes spandex isn't the answer. Taking these steps and making minor adaptations where needed can certainly help the progress of your Agile transformation move forward. I still strongly recommend, that you bring in a qualified Agile coach to assess your situation and assess the details and help work with you to decide what formula is going to be best to approach and which steps should be approached first. The outside assistance will quickly pay for itself. It'll pay for itself in no time, and prove to your organization, that you get the boost that you need to really see true, measurable, outcome-based success. I wish I could have created a document called 100 Steps, but no one would have ever read it, right? There's a lot more to these steps than just words on a page. So, I encourage you to reach out to us at AgileDad if we can be of any additional assistance in helping you move through these steps, or if you want us to help determine what steps you can take to help you further along your path. The key here is to help you internalize Agile and to get you to a point where you're behaving Agile instead of just going through the motions and doing Agile. I tell my coaches our job is literally to work our way out of a job. We should be able to teach you internally best ways to achieve Agile excellence so that your customers can share your newfound success, and so that internally your people can be happy. I look forward to hearing your comments and feedback with regard to the implementation of this 12-step program. We want you to be successful. We want you to be strong. We want you to be Agile. And we want you to do more than just do Agile. We want you to embrace these things, internalize them, and make them part of your everyday success. So I hope you took away a lot this week. Tune in as we cover additional Agile topics, and as always, we encourage you to share Agile topics that you think would be of use to you at learnmore@agiledad.com. We'd love to cover another week worth of topics that are important to you and things that you want to hear in this broadcast. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay Agile. Until next time, do take care, my friends.